This company is net cash to the tune of billions of dollars.
Performance so strong this earnings season.
It's growing at a double-digit pace.
Analysts are now piling on the positive sentiment.
We have increasing coverage, firming sentiment, and a high-end range, which is suggesting about a 50% upside.
MarketBeat's Thomas Hughes shares a list of the 5 most upgraded stocks this December.
A lot of them are price target increases.
Just how high analysts are predicting this AI market could climb. Let's dive in. Thomas, so great to have you back on the show as always. Now looking at some of the most upgraded stocks on the market. Really excited about this list of 5 stocks that you have for us today. First, I want to talk about what do all of these most upgraded stocks have in common?
Well, they're all major tech companies. Most of them are blue chip tech companies central to the AI story and AI infrastructure. And so what these reports and these analyst trends are telling me is that the AI trade is not over.
Yeah, that says a lot about that discussion about a potential AI bubble for sure. To see so many analysts really celebrating these AI stocks and expecting them to move even higher. But before we get into the list of 5 stocks you have for us today, we're starting at the 5th most upgraded and working our way to the number 1 most upgraded stock on the market right now. First off, how do they make this list? What are you looking at? What does it mean to be most upgraded?
Well, this is a screener that's produced by MarketBeat's website, and what they're doing is counting all of the positive analyst revisions, initiated commentaries, or reaffirmed ratings over the preceding 90 days. It doesn't also count negative ratings, so it is possible for a most upgraded stock to also be a most downgraded stock. But in this case, these companies are receiving only positive news, which is very bullish for their markets, provides a pretty solid tailwind for their price action.
Yeah, to have only positive revisions is a really good sign for a lot of these stocks, and some pretty big names on this list as well as some smaller names too. So excited to dive into it. And as always, I'm asking questions to see which one of these I'm going to be adding to Bridget Bai's watch list. It's a paper trading watch list where I help keep track of some of the moves in the stocks we talk about on this channel. So you can scan the QR code or click the link if you haven't visited that yet, or if you just haven't checked up on it in a while to see how it's doing. All right, Thomas, let's get into that 5th most upgraded stock on the market right now.
Right. The 5th most upgraded stock coming into December is Amazon. It received 42 positive updates over the last 90 days, really quite a significant number. There are many stocks that don't even have 20 analysts covering them, much less 42 offering updates. In the case of Amazon, a few analysts updated more than once during the period, so it really shows a very bullish trend. They're definitely leading this market to new highs, and the reason is AWS and AI. The core consumer business is still doing very well. It's growing at a double-digit pace, but Amazon Web Services is growing at a 20% pace as it leans into AI, expanding its data center infrastructure, and the net result is that the revenue is accelerating. So growth is not only strong, but it's accelerating sequentially and compared to last year, and it's just pointing to a pretty robust year ahead for Amazon.
Hey, let's look at the range of some of the upgrades that we're seeing right now. What's the high end of that range, and how much potential upside does that give this already monster stock?
So the consensus estimate is a 25% upside right now. That puts the stock right near $300. But the high end of the range puts it near $360, which is another double-digit upside on top of that 25% gain, which could be reached in the next 3 to 6 months in alignment with the upcoming 2 earnings cycles.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the holiday season has any impact on this one specifically. I know Amazon is much more of a tech company, but it's
Right.
still a prime retailer as well.
It does have that dual story. I think that retail sales will be much better than expected this year, and a lot of that will be centered in digital e-commerce, which is Amazon's forte.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of Amazon orders happening right now, the Santa of the season for sure. Well, let's move on to that 4th most upgraded stock on the list today.
Right, that's Nvidia. Nvidia received 43 updates in the last 90 days. Most of them came after the earnings report, which to me was a blowout. It absolutely continued the trends that were in place and suggests those trends will continue. And those trends are that the AI business is bigger than we thought, growing faster than expected, and it's accelerating. In addition to that, since that report, Nvidia has announced numerous new deals. It's made acquisitions that kind of cement its future. But right now, what we see with the analysts is an expectation positioned for new all-time highs. Consensus is forecasting a 43% upside, and then the high-end range adds another double-digit gain on top of that.
And as we look at the market for December, at least the first day of December, didn't necessarily start on a positive note, except for Nvidia. It did end the day in the green, unlike a lot of the other tech stocks out there.
Right.
Why are we seeing a good boost for Nvidia now, especially after it's kind of struggled even after that really strong earnings report?
Monday's action was driven by news that it had invested $2 billion in Synopsys. Synopsys is critical for semiconductor development and engineering new technologies. Is a good move for Nvidia because it helps open up new avenues to revenue. So what we'll be looking for over the next few quarters and few years is for this deal to start to produce potential new technologies, expanding applications for existing technologies into new industries, and providing new revenue streams for Nvidia.
Now, $2 billion is a pretty large investment, but not for a company the size of Nvidia, too. Do you
Right.
expect to see some more expenditures like this for Nvidia?
Oh, for sure. This company is net cash to the tune of billions of dollars. It could make 2 or 3 or 4 more acquisitions like this without doing any kind of damage to its balance sheet.
Yeah, a huge company. And again, making this list of most upgraded stocks, even at the size it's currently at. So a lot of growth ahead yet, potentially, for this company. Let's get on to that third most upgraded stock on the market in December.
That's Micron. Micron Technology received 47 positive updates. Many of them are upgrades. A lot of them are price target increases, and that's because of its position in the memory market. It makes some of the highest quality HBM high bandwidth memory, which is really crucial for Nvidia and AMD and other GPUs and for AI. Demand for those GPUs is so intense, it's creating shortages in the market. So we're seeing news of pricing increases for HBM memory, shortages that might affect adjacent industries such as automotive and mobile, all really amplifying and boosting this really robust revenue outlook. So on the one hand, we have demand for GPUs driving the company's revenue, but also these shortages increasing the price for the product. So we have this dual tailwind for growth. It's being seen in the margin, and that's one of the reasons why the analysts really like this stock. As far as their revisions go, the price action is leading the market. So the consensus price target is lagging right now, but the revision trend is so strong that the consensus is up almost 50% in the last 12 months. We have increasing coverage, firming sentiment, and a high-end range near 340, which is suggesting about a 50% upside.
Yeah, there's a lot of moves ahead for this stock, but there's already been a lot of moves just in the last month. Can we talk about some of the volatility that MU has seen just in the last 2 weeks? There was quite a big drop and then a recovery pretty quick after that.
Well, right. So this market has got a really rapidly swelling outlook that's seen in the analyst trends, but the market has moved ahead of the consensus pretty quickly. And so what we saw the last few weeks is just the market kind of correcting back down to the consensus level, allowing market action and sentiment to kind of catch up with each other. Since then, we've seen a pretty strong show of support at critical levels. We're now rebounding, moving up above critical moving averages, and looking like that will set a new all-time high pretty soon.
Yeah, this is another one of those stocks very much tied to the AI market that we're seeing a lot of moves and a lot of positive analyst sentiment. I know there's so many different AI names to look at. And Thomas, you've recently put together a brand new list of the top 10 best AI stocks to invest in for 2026. Make sure to check out this latest report by scanning the QR code or clicking the link right in the description of this video. It's a free report that Thomas just put together. You can find that on MarketBeat.com and take a look at 10 other of the biggest names in AI to look ahead for the new year. All right, Thomas, let's continue on with this list, getting to that second most upgraded stock for December.
Right. So that's CrowdStrike. And this one is interesting because the other 4 stocks on this list all got most of their earnings or most of their upgrades after their Q3 earnings release. CrowdStrike is different. It's getting a lot of analyst attention leading into that report. So there's a lot of expectations, a lot of high hopes. And what the forecast is right now is for the company to sustain its 20% growth pace and a solid margin. The solid margin is really, really important for this one because it is very profitable and it uses that money to help invest in its growth. Right. So the analyst action in the last 90 days has been very, very robust. Right now, consensus is near 550. That's pointing to about a 10% upside following the release. But the consensus is up $200, like 50% in the last 12 months. indicating a very, very strong, robust trend. The high end range is near $700. So we're expecting a pretty good report. So there is a high expectation built into this report.
This one is an interesting one, like you said, because this analyst revisions are coming before its earnings report is even released. Does
Right.
that make this one a riskier one to look into right now? And also, why are we seeing this early analyst sentiment for a stock even before we really see what's happening in their earnings?
Well, right. So this trend started with the last earnings report, which was better than expected, and reaffirmed this outlook for them to be able to sustain a 20% growth pace. Since then, other cybersecurity companies have come out with solid reports, which just helps to bolster the sentiment for the entire sector. So these are just two tailwinds that are driving sentiment and helping to lead this market higher. But as I said, it puts a lot of expectations into the market, so it's possible that even a good report could result in a price pullback.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see even when those good reports aren't quite enough to satisfy the market. You touched on something else that's interesting about CrowdStrike in particular, and that's a lot of positive sentiment for other cybersecurity firms right now. Is there any fear that we're going to see too much competition in this sector? Or is it just a sign that there's that much demand for so many companies to have a successful year, given the demand that's out there?
Cybersecurity is a highly fragmented market. I think Palo Alto Networks is the largest player, and I think it has less than 5% market share. There's plenty of room for all these companies to grow. And in most cases, you don't need just one company. CrowdStrike has a niche in cybersecurity. So an enterprise corporation would need to use it along with some other platforms for a comprehensive security system.
That's a really great point, Thomas. So there's room for a lot of these because they offer different aspects of cybersecurity, which is why we're seeing so much growth here. Stock is getting pretty big already, especially if it heads anywhere near the high end of the estimates. Is it anywhere near that stock split territory?
I think it's getting up there. At $500, it certainly is becoming inaccessible to smaller traders and the company's employees. So it is a possibility based on the growth trajectory. The company certainly fits the mold for stocks that split. If it were to do so, I would look for there to be some post-split volatility, some price pullbacks, and I would definitely use that as an entry point.
Interesting company. And again, second most upgraded stock for a pretty large company already, even before earnings season. Let's get into the top one, the most upgraded stock on the market this December. Which company is that?
Right, that's Google. Google had received 63 updates, far more than the number of analysts that MarketBeat is tracking as covering the stock. So we've probably got about 15 or 20 analysts that have issued more than one update in the last 3 months, and it's all very, very good news. So the sentiment trend is rooted in results, but also in some developments that occurred in the EU earlier this year. Google was able to resolve some antitrust issues that removed the possibility of a forced breakup that really improved investor sentiment, helped get the market to come back to the stock. Since the EU news, we've had better than expected earnings results. We've had numerous deals for AI and data centers. They released the update of Gemini 3, which is being hailed as better than ChatGPT and really has cemented Google as being a key AI player. And some of the headlines that I've seen recently suggest that Google could be the AI play for 2026.
That's really saying something on a list full of AI companies that are all doing really, really well right now. I also think something that's interesting, not just for this top pick, but all of the stocks on this list, these are already giant companies that are getting more and more upgrades, more and more growth predicted. One of my questions is how big can these companies get? How big of an impact will AI have, and how much could they possibly grow as far as valuation goes?
Alphabet is already at a level where it is facing the potentiality of a forced breakup. It's just really a matter of time for it before the EU or some other country decides that it's just too big for its britches. It's got too many conflicting businesses. But other than that, AI in general has quite a ways to go. It's not a flash in the pan. It's a revolution. So technology has changed. It's been changed. It will continue to change over the upcoming quarters and years, and we'll just see more revolutionary things happen in upcoming quarters and years as AI is developed to continue driving this trade.
It's so interesting to think about how much more growth could be ahead. And clearly, the analysts are expecting more growth in the near term future for a lot of these big companies. I want to end this by just talking about something we talk about often on the channel, and that's how much weight to put into these analyst upgrades. So the whole video is about the most upgraded stocks on the market. But what do you use these analyst upgrades for in your own research, Thomas, when you're looking at whether now is a time to invest in these stocks?
Well, when it comes to the analysts, no one analyst, no one rating, no one upgrade or price target change has that big of an effect on a stock. But with these companies, the number and the trends are what's important. We have really broad-based coverage. We have firm trends with improving coverage, improving sentiment, improving price targets, which is just helping to cheer the market on, helping to improve broad market sentiment, helping to attract more money into these markets to help drive those stock prices higher. I do put a lot of faith into this data because these stocks represent such a large portion of the S&P 500. We can expect them to remain strong in the upcoming year.
All right, very good. Well, now it's time for me to pick which one is going to make it onto Bridget's buy, my paper trading watch list. And I think I have to stick with the strong one out there, the classic Nvidia, simply because I like that it's down a little bit after that really stellar earnings report. It shows a lot more upside potential, especially with these recent analysts' upgrades and revisions. So I don't have it on the Bridget's buys watch list yet. I'm glad that you talked about it and it was included in the list so I could get it on the watch list and continue to track the moves in the stock because there's a lot of moves. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to the moves, it seems, but I think this is a good time to add that to the watch list.
NVIDIA is a great choice. It is clearly the AI leader when it comes to this kind of trade. Picking the winners, they're the ones that have proven they have the technology. It's proven it's got the business. It's absolutely got the cash flow. To me, it is the single best AI stock to own. Not saying that Google won't be a good one too. It also looks, very well positioned for next year. But I think NVIDIA is a good choice.
All right, Thomas, thank you. And thank you for watching, everyone. Let us know what you think about these most upgraded stocks for December. Do you pay attention to which stocks are getting the biggest upgrades right now? I know these are all really large names. Are these some of the stocks that you're still looking to add to your position all the time? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. As always, happy investing.